Uh, what's going on? Oh my God! It's another episode of Karandrin role playing. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 48 of Karandrin role playing. Brise's Tale. My name is Kevin Manus Pinnings. I will be your host and game master for the night. I'm also known as Cracked Palantir on various social media. And as always, my good buddy Max is here to play Brise, our young, beautiful paladin. Brise, say hello to the lovely people.
Hello, everybody. Oh, Max, say hi to the lovely people. Not Breeze. That's
Yes.
Breeze's canonical voice, by the way. If anyone wants to do voice acting for us, yeah. Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing pretty well. Hope you're ready for another fun session of Karandrin tonight.
Yes, we're doing an outside episode. The weather is nice. We thought we'd give it a shot. We may have some lighting problems later on. Hope you'll bear with us while we tweak those. Right now, it's pretty good, but when the sun goes down, we may have to tweak some things. But maybe that'll be during the break. So, but again, everybody, welcome back. Where we left off last time on episode 47. Here's what was going on. We had Brees returning to Mia Gral's keep, and I'll throw up some captions here for anybody new who is forgetting who was who. And so she's returning back to the keep. She had someone doing Brees had someone doing some research on the Iron Empress, which is a deity from an ancient religion, and received a message from that researcher that her superiors in this temple, the researcher superiors in this temple, did not approve of that research, and she needed to speak to Brees urgently. So they are coming to Lady Miagral's keep to meet with Brees. Brees is probably going to do sort of a full court press here to try to get the information and also sort of save her researcher's hide. Um, so, but also in addition to the issue with the Iron Empress, is the issue that um, two powerful wizards are coming to speak with Adabir about their plan to try to convert the power being drained from the demon Kralum, um, who is this giant, powerful demon trapped in the mouth of a volcano. Um, um, his attempt is, Adabir's attempt is um, um, to drain that power and turn it to the good of society and not the evil, not to harm society. And I know very few people believe that that's even possible. But Adabir wants to try, and we can corral them that way and hopefully benefit all sentient kind. I obviously can't say humankind since there's multiple races and species here. So we're so that meeting is very important. If they try to intervene in Adabir's plan, then that really raises the stakes on everything, and they know everything about Adabir's plan. We think because they were able to one of them, Plesh the Seer, an old goblin, was able to actually use his magical arts and get details from Brees. Now Brees assumes that they know everything, but there's no real way to tell. It's a mind reading spell. What can we say?
Right.
So did I get that about right, Max? Did I miss anything?
Yes, we did. Just on the side note, we did have that kind of interesting conversation with Ichar. His name was
Yeah.
one of the superiors in the Goblin Guard for the keep, which was just kind of didn't expect it to take so long, but it did, and was kind of interesting. Might lead to some repercussions later. Might need to, or maybe a new source of information.
Yeah, HR is second in command of the gate guard at the keep,
Right.
and Brise went to talk to him about.
Should be fourth in command, if you know what I mean.
That's right. But he and Brise had a confrontation, um, and Brise pretty well cowed him, and may have some sway over him. But Kralum came and said, "Hey, look, I've heard about this HR from just eavesdropping on conversations and so on." In his rat form, that he literally seizes a rat and scurries around the keep. And Itchar is a right son of a bitch, it turns out. Very dangerous, very very
Very
cutthroat.
capable.
Yes, but also very politically savvy. And so, that's sort of it's complicated things, but it may be a resource as well. So I don't know if I don't know if I pointed this out last time, but this is, this may be the debut of my young cousin. She's very little, and she insisted that I have a crazy straw. So this is my watermelon crazy straw from my little cousin that I appreciate very much. And if this is its internet debut, then God bless it. Honestly,
Kevin, your cousin is going places because that is a wonderful idea.
Right. So here's the little cousins who are cute and adorable. So that's right.
Cheers.
That's right. And the end of the stream is from the stream of water. So yeah, that's sort of where we are. And
Obi-Wan, Karen, hi there. Yeah, I'll try to talk to my my boss about getting Karandrin sponsored.
oh yeah, that'd be great. That would be fantastic.
I have high hopes that it'll
That's
make its way up the chain to the marketing division.
That's right.
And in microprocessors and go into tabletop games.
That's right.
Company. Nice to see you.
Yeah, welcome Obi-Wan. Welcome everybody who is tuning in, returning, or first timers. You also notice the headphones to block out the noise of the neighborhood.
Very stylish.
I think so. I'm a sexy motherfucker. There's no doubt about it.
So I think we left off finishing my whatever I was doing. Oh, I just woke up. Kralum visited me, so getting ready in the morning and should be seeing Albane and her superior very soon.
Right, that being the priestess researcher, I should probably roll some stats up for those guys.
I had a very short conversation with Albane, so
yeah. So remind me, I don't know if I have Albane's numbers. Do you remember what she was?
78689. Oh, sorry.
That's it.
She is a dwarven lady. Send a note to Albane. Let me see. Strawberry blonde, light blue eyes, average looking.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything else on her really.
Sure.
That's about it.
All right. Well, you get ready. Probably dress in your best clothing, right?
Yeah, dress my orange. I have an orange dress that has enchantment on it. I think it has an enchantment for 15 plus magic to diplomacy.
Okay, fantastic.
Dress in that.
Hair
is all nice and done. Pits are shaved.
Unlikely.
All that lady stuff.
So yeah, you take a quick bite in the parlor, and you have them set out, some snacks and so on for your company. As you no doubt recall, the you've had the guard escort them in to basically humble them and to put them off their game, to understand that they're in your in your in your domain. So they you receive a note at the gate that they have arrived, and they will be there shortly.
Okay.
You fix your hair one last time, and and lie in wait for them.
Lie in wait.
That's right. Oh, that's what I got to do here, and just see their. That's right. The other things I need from them. So there's a knock at the door. You bid them enter.
Mm-hmm.
In comes Albane. She looks cowed, um, and eyes downcast, and there's a guard escorting them in. Roll for me.
39.
So looks like her superior, who is a goblin woman, with some real height to her. She's dressed in high quality robes. They're white with a black trim, and she is clearly irritated at the fact of being escorted. So it didn't have the effect you wanted, but there are ways of pushing the point, like saying, if she gets upset, you can say, "Do I need to have the guard come back?"
Right.
So keep that in mind. But that's a way to push this point of you're in my domain and so on.
Okay.
She comes in. They both come in. You nod to the guard. They leave, and you rise. The goblin the goblin just looks after the guard as he leaves and turns back to you and says, in goblin, do you treat all of your guests with such disrespect? This is absurd. What kind of fool are you to treat a priestess this way?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm angry now. That's the second person who's like getting on my nerves. How to respond to that? Well, I mean, literally, she's the one who had me arrange this meeting, and so that's what I would say is like, well, maybe we need to have this meeting if a certain, person would let me do my research in peace.
She comes right up to your face, and says, "You were researching forbidden topics. We have no interest in sharing lore on ancient false gods. Why could you possibly be interested in such a thing? Undermining the morals and values of our society, that is ridiculous."
I will tell her that. I guess she wouldn't know about me, but I say that God still has power in the valleys around here. Maybe the temple should be doing something to defeat her instead of hiding away all of her research.
The knowledge is forbidden, and that is an end of it. She turns on her heel and heads to the door.
What could I say to? Well, I mean, would it be out of my place to say I haven't dismissed you yet? Or is that
It's a
not really?
gamble. You feel social equals, right? Because
Yeah.
the clergy would have sort of their own sort of, they're not above or below, right? They're off to the side and sort of equal to everybody, but there's still leeway in that. And so, so it's a gamble, but it's definitely an idea.
Yeah. I like Quinn actually gave me a good suggestion there. It just not that I dismiss you, but it says that we're not done here. No one dismissed you.
Roll for me.
35.
And roll again for me.
47.
Oh dear, I've never tried glasses and
Yeah, now you know how it feels.
This is
that forever, man.
where is? I'm sorry. What did you roll?
47.
Okay.
No, I know, Quinn. It was just I was gonna say something along those lines anyway, so the fact that it was just there was coincidental.
You definitely scored a hit. That she's now questioning how much power you have in the castle. You see her start when you speak very sternly. She turns back to you. She's not so sure of herself. You can wait for her to speak, or you can keep going.
And we haven't done like an impression, of her. I guess could I get?
Thank you for keep reminding me of that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already annoyed at her, but maybe there's
right. She is as she seems to be. Okay. Officious, pious, rude.
All right. So what would I say then? So I'll bring up Albane this time. It's regardless whether the topics are forbidden or not. I asked, one of your priests to do some research for me, and I'm, curious if they were able to do it.
What about bringing up your own? I mean, this sounds very strange, I know, but revealing the fact that you are actually trained as a paladin.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That you actually serve the temples.
Yeah. I like that. I'm going to go off what I said before instead about, that the temple should be doing something. I bring up that I've been trained as a paladin, and in order to, drive out these evils, one must learn about them. Isn't that right?
Roll for me.
46.
She looks at you just like you're out of your mind, but not enough to act on it. Albane chimes in, ma'am, when she and I first spoke, she knew many of the liturgies, and her knowledge in our conversation, her knowledge seemed more than that of a casual believer. She glances at her.
Casual believer in Jesus Christ.
You have her on the ropes. You can press with social power. You can also press with social graces. There are snacks and drinks on the table, on the the coffee table. Oh, I just got that. That's where they serve coffee. Anyway, never known why they called that a coffee table, but
What? You're joking. That just
no, I never thought about it. It's like, what do I know? Oh God, we are on a mission from God. Quinn says
it's love seat, coffee table. It's
they're all right there.
days
The
long.
words. That's
Anyway,
right. The abortion recliner. It's all in the. Just put your
electric
legs up.
chair.
Electric chair.
Anyway, let's back off a bit and say, like, if you stay a little while, we can discuss. There's some food here for you.
Sure.
The lady Mia Grawl, is a benevolent,
Host.
Yeah.
She sits. She's still very curious. And we'll skip over some of this because basically what happens next is she begins sort of she changing the MPA rating. That's hilarious, Obi-Wan.
That's Ottoman. That's a great one.
It was originally called a Butterman. I don't know if you knew that. But
they dropped the B when it,
yeah, that's right. It was a bottomman. It was a bottomman. Oh my God. They originally had a crease down the middle.
or they kept all their surgical tools in there. Called the lobotoman.
Are you crazy? Oh, all right. Anyway, so she basically tries to play a game. One's leaving.
Leaving screen now. Oh, our viewer count just dropped in half.
I know, right? Our attendance, our ratings just. She basically plays a very obvious game of let's test your religious knowledge. Roll for me.
Oops. 95.
You roll again and add it.
All right. 52.
Um,
I'm always reminded of the scene in Indiana Jones, the third movie, where he has to spell Jehovah or something, and he like jumps on the J, and then like there's like a trap door. He's like, it begins with an I in the Latin alphabet or something. I don't know why. Sure.
Right.
Play this game. Okay.
It finally ends with her asking if you have magical arts. She keeps going back to the point that you've proven nothing more than a devout believer would know, and so
cast control animal on her.
that was a deliberate joke, you asshole.
I mean, I could show her, some magical ability. Just, I guess, would casting a spell, or is there another way I could show that?
No, I mean, casting a spell would be probably the easiest way to do it.
Let me cast a light, spell just on the palm of my hand.
Roll it up.
Hope that I don't fumble it. That's a 17. That's pretty low.
Wow, that's really close. It costs you 5 exhaustion instead of 1, but it is successful.
Flickers a little bit. Like I am faithful. I swear. Good
God. So she is wary but convinced.
All right.
She says, I must ask that Albane not be involved in this. She is too young to be working on such matters. And as you see, it already got her in trouble. And she turns and says to Albane, I'm glad we were able to get this matter straightened out. You may return to your duties. And Albane nods and nods to you. I don't know if you want to apologize to her. Do you want to walk her to the door and say, I mean, you know, is there any amends? This is Albane. Is there any amends that you want to make?
Yeah, no, I would definitely want to apologize and kind of reiterate that I hope, you know, her, you know, her career or track record, you know, won't be impacted by my request.
Right.
And you know, and then I'll add on if it would, you know, fit the temples for me to make a donation, you know, show my good faith as well.
Well, and you could just you know, palm her some money, you know.
Albane specifically.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, and then give a donation through, and you know, we always skip over names. This woman's name, the superior's name, is Karandrin, Candrinn. Candrinn.
Karandrin. Okay.
That's it.
Let me, yeah, you know, let me, you know, go over, put a hand on her shoulder, and slip her, you know, 4 gold coins.
Okay.
Albane, just to show that
I
am concerned for her well-being, you know.
Right, and just say, you know, you sort of tell her donate as much as you want. You know, tell her that very quietly, and she thanks you, and out she goes. So she leaves. You tell the guards on the floor that she won't be in need of an escort. Off she goes. You come back. Karandrin says, I accept you as a paladin. That's fine, although rarely do I find one in such a form. But I will assign you a different researcher, a more senior researcher.
Okay.
So that the knowledge does not fall into such young hands. I will tell you that we have several extensive volumes on this Iron Empress in particular. I need to look up. I know I started writing on that. I'm trying to think where I put that.
Yeah, some lore. It kind of fell by the wayside for a while, but now it's
right. Can you be reached here most days? I will send word of whom I have appointed.
Yeah.
What did I call this thing? I'm just going to have to search for contents. It's weird. It doesn't recognize. There they are. Boom. This false goddess that you seek knowledge on, this Iron Empress, she's also known as Brise. And I'll send you that name. She was a goddess of the afterlife among those primitive peoples that believed in her. Sorry, I couldn't find the stream. I was looking through all my apps. I couldn't find the stream. You guys were lost to me.
Oh.
Um, but much of those people's ruins litter this region all the way to the coast, and somewhere some distance into the desert even.
Oh wow.
But you are as young as Albane. I cannot fully counsel that you pursue this matter too deeply. You must take your devotions very seriously as you read this matter, at the very least. I could
Is
not.
that I just want to interject. So, like, as a religious person, I guess I would take her advice, seriously. But is that kind of
Yes, it's
impacting you at all?
it's honest. No, of course, it's tainted just by your irritation with her. But
Yeah.
yes, I mean, she is clearly one who believes that there is one set of gods,
Mhm.
right? And you are not particularly of that vein. You think that everyone can have their own set of gods. You were brought into this world to worship these gods. They were brought into their world at their time to worship those gods.
Mm-hmm.
That is the will of the gods. That's a higher mystery. That's out of your. That's beyond your pay scale.
Yeah,
That's right. That's beyond your pay scale. I think I'm gonna bump my lighting up a little bit here. Oh, I think I'm getting a little dim. I'm dim-witted. We all know.
Yeah.
So, um, um, so hers is a belief that doesn't really resonate with you. You can say, well, you could think, well, what I'll do is, maybe I will be more regular in my prayers.
Sure.
And maybe I do need to be more generous to the temples to reinforce, to show the gods that I am not abandoning them.
Right.
And so maybe you need to think about, the degree to which, some of these magic items, even you could just give, because that those items go to the armory of the temple, or they're sold, to other interests if they decide they're not of use.
Right.
And so, certainly giving her a contribution to make herself, that's a big, it's like being any sort of client manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
A priest who brings in a heavy donating client, it's great for their career. Right? Did you bag that account? You know what I mean? Did you witness that account? And so it can soften Karandrin's attitude towards you, as well as show your devotion to the gods. So all stuff for you to consider.
Sure.
But
yeah, basically, like, I was just asking because she gave me that advice, and I do take it to heart. I do consider it, like you said. So.
Roll for me.
2.
Well, that is one of those reasoning rolls that we just completely bombed.
All right.
That's all right. She's smarter than you. She's not. But she says,
I have a plus 15 to diplomacy. I better be nailing all these.
Surely you must remember from your own training, she says, that we have resources at the temple that we can lend you should you be taking on a task for the gods. We have scrolls. We have a scroll library that we add to daily, and
you see, the thing is here, Karandrin, I can't go into.
Well, that's when
I know that's what I don't.
So that's why you donate a large sum,
right? That way, I can request them
to be brought to you.
show up there. Yeah.
Right. And it may cost you more, but it is a whole other resource of anti-curse, anti-unholy stuff.
Right.
Because here we're talking about, at least within the fantasy world, it's sort of temple magic versus temple magic. Um, so um, so she seems more contented, but she's just as irritating.
Yeah.
I mean, crumbs fall from her face. She asks you very bold questions about inappropriate stuff, like whether when did just she has no sense of propriety.
Yeah.
She asks you very blunt questions about Miagral and what you've learned about Miagral, which are just not really appropriate. um, but um, roll for me.
91.
Her devotion is devout, if rigid. I mean, it is genuine, but she is definitely inflexible, you know, um, and so good for her. Anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
so um, she it ends on pretty good terms.
Okay.
As it wraps up, do you want to take advantage of? Is there other questions you need to ask? Do you want to? Um,
Well, I mean, I would bring up that I was paying Albane for her, research duties. What I want to make sure they're, taking. I guess I'll ask her, what do I have to do to make sure my research questions are properly, taken care of?
well, she was kind of a freelance deal for you. You don't doubt that she gave some of that money to the temple just
Sure.
um, to increase her own standing
Oh, sure, sure.
and also no doubt just as a part of her own devotion. But no one gives as much as they want to give, right? As they initially say they're going to give.
Mhm.
So um, so really, the thing here is not to make it because you've made it official temple business, right, to help you with this project. So
Right.
now it's just to donate both for your own relationship to the gods, like we discussed, your own devotion, but also to get yourself higher on the priority list.
Sure. Yeah.
And so that would be the way you think to handle this.
Right. And I was gonna go back to my room and grab something, for that very purpose.
Well, I mean, I say that you probably would have brought it with you, so we can say that you've got a pouch down beside the chair that has most of your gold in it.
Hmm.
Um, so um, so what are you going to offer her something?
Yeah, I'm gonna offer her the. I have a +10 substance plate helm that I just kind of found some loot. Might be a little dirty, but try my best to clean it off.
Well, sure. I mean, we'll assume you've done so beforehand if that was your
Mhm.
plan.
Exactly.
Uh, um, is there anything else you want to give? Coinage you want to give?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll also do like 20 gold pieces on top of that. Very very generous donation.
Well, if she's going to give you a senior researcher to work with, you might consider doing more.
Oh, you think? Okay.
Because remember, that most of this is going to go to the temple. They're going to pocket some of it.
Sure. What do you think would be better? More gold, or maybe I have some other items?
Gold is more. You could do both. I might do. I might go as even high as 100 gold, and then some other item because the items, the item isn't very liquid, right? They can't.
Right. Right.
Um,
Okay. Well, I'll give. I also have a +10 craft serrated hand axe.
Okay.
the temple, and I'll give him, 100 gold total.
Okay.
So the helm, serrated hand axe, and 100 gold.
Nice. That's certainly done the trick. It's the sense you get from she seems to be very high up in the library, very high up in the stacks, if you pardon the
Yeah.
pun. And so she's probably not used to handling a lot of donations, and she is wide-eyed with pleasure at what you've
I don't know
provided.
where that came from.
So, um,
Well, brilliant. Glad we're on the same page.
right. Um, so, she says that she'll be in touch. She probably will receive a note um, by this evening as to the name of your new researcher. Um, and the work will continue. Would you rather have notes sent to the inn in town that you specified, or would you rather have notes sent here?
Here would be better.
So she takes that into consideration. She, will assume that you've sort of gotten her a sack or a pack to put things in, just taken from the castle stores. And is there anything else you need to accomplish with her? Um, do you want? I mean, like you could ask about what resources they could
No,
provide,
yeah,
and
I was about to say that. Yeah, if you could give me a list of different. So, I mean, what would the temples have to offer? Scrolls and tomes, and maybe herbs as well. Herbs are kind of when you go into the shop here in town. So,
yes, all of those sorts of things.
okay,
We, we loan out tomes. So long as you can give us a 500 gold piece deposit.
okay,
Um, and um, um, we have a decent store of scrolls. The the purification spells are very important in the work you're thinking of undertaking. Our herbs are better than the selection you'll find in town, certainly.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely. I'm interested in kind of their selection of herbs. If they could kind of give me a list of the ones they have. I could also see what I might be missing. Are they kind of like?
she she says that they doubt they'll have time, that the herb keep will have time to construct such a list.
Oh,
Um,
sure. I mean, I would ask if they have anything like red cane or something similar to that. Re- quote unquote restores HP.
right, heals pain, heals wounds.
Yeah.
Um,
But like to
oh,
that, that degree, that's a very
that
hefty,
powerful.
very
Yeah.
powerful. And
Have you ever found red cane beyond that first offering of it you had? And
no, yeah,
yeah, it's pretty powerful,
that's
obviously.
kind of the most powerful one I know of.
Right. She says she'll ask, and that'll be, she'll try to have that information for you with tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so she thanks you for your time, and she just outright pockets some of the food, and
Okay.
off she goes.
Gonna eat those tater tots.
Eat those tater tots.
Great Napoleon Dynamite.
That's right.
Um,
I've never watched that. I need to. I've always meant to.
I've only seen bits and pieces, but the bits and pieces I have seen, I love. So
That's funny. It's what is the it's a Family Guy note about that. Like you seem like like about Napoleon Dynamite himself. Like you seem like someone I wouldn't like, but others would.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's the line in there.
Yeah.
So yeah. So off. Let me put. There we go. Oops, my fingers were offset on the keyboard. So
Offset fingers.
they're the worst. They're just the worst.
I want to get that checked out.
That's right. So she departs. You've got that knocked out.
Cool.
You retire to your room to kind of decompress. A few minutes later, there's a knock on the door, and it's oh my God, why can I not remember his name? The butler, what's his name?
Burla.
Burla.
Asked me his name probably like 15 times.
I do. I have this.
The name to something else.
Well, the thing is, I've got this character that I in my head from classic Doctor Who, and his name is Benlow. His name is Benlow the Heretic, and
Yeah.
I really like that character a lot. And every time I start to say Burlow, I start going Benlow, and I'm like, no,
Right.
that's not right. But so Burlow comes in and lets you know that Atterbeer's consultants are here.
Okay.
And so just to let you know, and that of course, don't forget about the lunch. Though he is pleased that you seem dressed for lunch.
Yeah.
And so there's some hours yet before it. So is there tasks you need to accomplish before that?
I guess I don't really need to make myself known to Flesh and the others and Falrenar. There's nothing really I have to contribute to that, so I would just wait until the lunch.
Right.
Let me just check my so instead I'll just check my goals. I don't think so, which means we will just do some reading here. I have a note here. I want to ask Plesh if I get an opportunity about my dreams of the Iron Empress.
Right.
About any kind of connection to her or something.
Right.
Oh yeah. So we're just gonna chill out in my room, do some reading.
All right, roll it up.
All time away. Reading my second tome here, 72.
All right, that's a solid hour of reading.
Gotta make sure that's the Eyes of the Spirit.
Yeah.
What I have begun reading, as of like a week ago.
Right.
The note up here. Yeah, as of 4:30, that's when I started.
Right.
Instead of
Purifications. So otherwise you relax. Should roll to see if anyone's got news for you. No. So what do you think about we take a slightly early break and then we'll come back and we'll do the lunch. What do you think about that?
Take an early break as long as it's a 20-minute break.
That's the only type of break that I know of, honestly.
Oh yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. That's
Turn for a
fantastic.
few minutes.
Yeah. So, guys, just hang out with us for a few minutes. We're going to run and refill drinks and such. I hope you do the same, and we'll be back and we'll see how this lunch goes, because we know that Lady Mia Grawl is going to be examining these two visiting wizards to evaluate really what they're up to and whether or not they're
I hear that the
what they
cook
say.
is new too.
That's right. It's the worst. The new cooks are the worst. So, so thanks for hanging out with us this far, and we'll be right back. It looks like I do need to crank up my lighting a little bit too during the break, and we'll go from there. So, we'll be right back, gang. Just bear with us. Well, hi, everybody. I'm going to play with these lights just a little bit before I allow Max back in because I don't like him. I'm going to try to get it a little brighter for us. That's not terrible. It's sort of clear that I'm in night shading, but that's all right. Oh, my God. Look, I can see that Max is yelling at the stream, trying to get us to put him back online. Isn't it better without Max, really? I mean, when we look at it, isn't it? It's improved. Is right? I think it's improved. All right, no, well, all right, we'll let him back on.
I was about to use the PowerPoint like draw tool, like you suck. This is how I communicate through the rest of the stream.
That's it. That's what I'm gonna do. All right. So, gang, welcome back. I'm glad you could join us.
Ready for lunch?
Yes, we are ready for the big lunch.
Yeah.
So we are going to get on with the business. So yeah, it comes lunch. You and the there's actually, even though of course it's walking distance to the main keep, coaches are brought for you, are sent for you, and largely it's for Adabir's comfort because long walks in the park are not his thing at his age. But of course, the coaches are very well appointed. You, Tagrev, the apprentices, you all ride in one. Adabir has his own. So the just in loading up and everybody meeting out front, you learn that Plesh and Fall Ramar are have been given quarters to refresh themselves after their journey and so on. They are residing in the main keep. And from their description of where, it sounds like they're actually not that far from Aldrif. Adabir tells you privately that he considered having Aldrif join you, but then considered, that might reveal more about your relationship than we want. He assumes that most people know, but why give them more information, make them earn it? So Kralum tells you in your room before you go down that he intends to be there eavesdropping.
Okay.
And so
I know Kralum ran off to try to find Adabir.
Yes. Did you want to ask about that? Is that your point?
Yeah. I'm just curious. Like, were we able to speak with Adabir?
He says yes. He is wondering, Kralum is wondering the extent to which Plesh will be able to detect him, because the arts of the seer are not about detecting the body. When they do a detection spell, it detects the mind. And so he would be able to determine if a given rat is Kralum or not. Now, maybe that's nothing, but maybe that's something. By the same token, then the question came up about whether he should spy on Fall Ramar and Plesh in their quarters, and see what their real thoughts are. Kralum has decided to take that risk. So after these two wizards leave, hopefully we'll know more than what they wanted to tell us. And finally, the word seems to be that the first attempt to try anything will be to try to damage a rune, the runes that do strengthen the manacles, to prevent Kralum, to allow Kralum to break free. I mean, They strengthen the manacles so that the mithril is even stronger, because mithril alone, even a foot thick of mithril, as we've discussed, is not enough to contain the might of the king of demons. Um, I mean, this is sort of, if we have a general viewer watching, the thought would be that a realm lord wouldn't need an army to take Minas Tirith. He would just take Minas Tirith.
Yeah. You just walk in there and be his.
Yeah. I mean, there's just really nothing that could stop him. And so,
what do we say? He's a football field, right?
Yes, but that's sort of the least of your concerns. I mean,
but just for
yeah, it's sure, for a different scale, yeah. So really it's sort of
imagine a creature like that.
Right. I mean, it is someone sort of the equivalent of Sauron, but this is a Sauron that's been trapped. A lord of nations and so on. So, I
was going to ask,
yeah.
I was going to say to you, does it seem like out of here leaving anything out, or should I press and
roll?
72.
He does seem to be leaving stuff out, but the sense is that it's stuff he hasn't figured out how to explain.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Like there's times he pauses, and you clearly can tell he's just abandoning the topic because he doesn't know, like, okay, really, what do I need to say here? Right. Yeah. So off you guys go.
It's not really eavesdropping if he's inside. Doesn't that expression come from dropping over the eave?
Well, literally, yeah. It's from hanging. It's from being on the roof, and then leaning down over the edge of the roof.
To hear who's what a weird term, and it became just to listen in on a conversation.
Right. Well, because that's how people would listen in on conversations in the home.
Right. I guess because it's one of those where it's such a unique case that it ironically becomes.
Yeah, you're right. Right. How often did it have to happen before it became? Right. Maybe it was used jokingly, and then it became the common expression. There's so many like that I like.
Like shooting wind, it's like.
I was right. Yeah, shooting the breeze.
Often, but it's just such a good expression that. But anyway. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, it's fine. So I left my beverage, so I asked Obi-Wan to bring it to me.
100 miles away. Nice.
I know. She's pretty sweet that way. So you're escorted by an honor guard. They're dressed in formal gear. This is like I said, to do you honor. Go into this grand dining hall. It's not been made up tremendously. It's only 2 guests. It's not a state visit, that sort of thing, So, there is. It's lined with natural rock pieces that the goblins have modified. They leave it very natural looking, but also then give it sort of a very curious sort of shape that plays with the natural form of the rock. And so they brought those. They seem to be interchangeable. They're on these heavy iron casters that can be rolled around, and so you're basically the whole guest, except of course for I've lost her name. Let me hop to my NPC database here. But
right,
some of the main wizard there of the.
She had a weird name, yeah.
Where the heck is she? Man, where is she?
I'm trying to find her too.
Sorry, guys, bear with us. I should.
Fizzband?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to search for it this way.
I was about to say Fizzgig, but that's from Dark Crystal. I just played the Dark Crystal board game.
Oh, is it good?
No, it was fun, but it was not a great board game. Yeah,
Fraldrum.
Fraldrum. Okay, I knew it was an F. Yeah.
Yeah. Dark dwarf female.
Right.
And yeah, she's wears decent clothing, but you can see the disheveled level of her. She's very short. I mean, you would have mistaken her for a very thick-boned halfling.
Yeah.
Had you not known otherwise. And so Mia Grawl is at the entrance of the dining room. She greets everyone as they come in.
So yeah, it's Faranar, Plesh, Adabir, me.
The three apprentices.
Tegra is back.
Tegra is back.
Okay.
He's been relatively quiet. Just you've been up in your room, and he's apparently been busy with other stuff, and so he he chats a little bit with you and the coach. In the 3-minute ride over.
Sure. Yeah. But nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. And there are some unnamed apprentices of what you have to assume are Fraldrum's people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're and they're there. We could roll them up later. And so everyone is sort of paired up. As they take seats and everything. You wind up sitting across from one of Fraldrum's apprentices. You're at the very end of the table. And so there are two visiting wizards, Falramar and Plesh are on one side. Mia Grawl is at the head. Across from Plesh is Adabir. A lot of the conversation is going to be a little bit out of earshot for you. A lot of the meat of the conversation.
Sure, yeah.
What I do want you to do, though, is roll, and we're going to see. That is hilarious.
I'm not going to roll until you tell me what it's for.
I never tell you what it's for. Roll.
Right. 92, whatever it is, it's good. Oh, hey, Arpen.
Welcome. Hey, Arpen, welcome.
I like how you send like a little stay home, emoji. It's like we're so like this big social gathering, having dinner together. It's like,
he's very COVID conscious. That's what the goblin pox was, 350 years ago.
Breathed into each other's faces. And, just walk it off.
Yeah, we just got word that 3 more of our family members got COVID.
Oh no!
So we heard that just before the stream, actually. So roll again for me.
Okay. 10.
Well, that's fascinating. So so you hear nothing about the conversation down the way, but the conversation, I guess I'll just go ahead and roll this guy you're sitting across from.
Sure.
You do learn lots. And let's roll a. Interesting. This is a fellow dark dwarf. Interesting. Another dark dwarf, male.
We said the dark dwarves are, for all our viewers, right? Pale skin, dark hair.
Yes, I
Not
don't
like
do the
not
whole
D&D. Can't remember what the race is called. Druigar.
right. I just kind of made it my own thing. You have a really great time with him. He, to the extent that you have to lower, like you have to contain your laughter so as not
Oh
to
yeah,
overpower the conversation.
I know
He's
that.
hilarious. He's intelligent. Um, and you really have a good time with them. Um, so, um, so his name is Kefik, Keffek.
Nice palindrome. I like it.
I don't know what his religion is.
That's how he starts the conversation backwards. It's like, you know, Kevik spelled backward is Kevik, and then I just start burst out laughing. You know my reasoning rolls. That'd probably get me. Get me
Right.
if I roll low for intelligence, I'm probably fine.
Right.
Funny.
Um,
My wit is probably dead.
that's right. He's got a beard down to his belt, very black. Um, um, he he wears these interesting robes um, with a sort of an extra piece of fabric that covers the shoulders and is free floating. I don't mean free floating, but it's free to move. You know, um, and um, and he you learn just tons um, about world politics, like both here and just all over the world, or all over Karandrin. Um, you know that Koronok was where he was born, which is the Dark Dwarven nation. Those are all K's in there, by the way, if you're interested in spelling that. Um, um, he's but he's just everything he says, he says with just with humor. Um, he's
How old is he? Just curious.
let me see, where's his age up there? He's fairly young.
Yeah, to know. I was curious because it seems you know a lot about. Seems well traveled, I guess. Or
Yeah, I mean, you can of course push him on that point. It may be, of course, that his family is of course like in the ministry or maybe nobles. I mean, there's some possibilities there. Where's the number I'm looking for there? No, that's not it. That's not it. Yeah. So he um, you just have a really um, good time with them. Um, um, you find that Batherin is sitting beside you and periodically just touches you throughout the meal. Roll for me.
I didn't consent to that, but okay, 53.
So you can tell she's trying to warn you. It's clearly a warning,
Oh,
but you're not picking up on the pattern. Um, and so, but you learn that. So you learn that Koronok is sort of has had very tempestuous relationships with its neighbors. Its neighbors would be the orcs to the west. And those are the orcs that are far south of you now, below the Dwarven nation. To their north, they have the Gravita Empire, which is one of the two desert nations. And and then they have sort of territorial fights with Belzebar, which is a peninsular nation at the far edge, the far eastern edge of Karandrin. And that intermittently they have alliances with the first two, but they're kind of always at odds with Belzebar because there's territory that no one's expanded into. And so you get colonists fighting and things like that, and then you get the higher ups involved, and it's so it's lots of skirmishes. Like it is you call it a war torn region. It just depends, but no one gets along with anyone down that way. But there are also periodic alliances that don't last very long between any of the three. And Belzebar is always the one left out. But you learn about and this is sort of a weird moment for me as a game master because this is the first time I've ever revealed this information. In the 30 years that I've game mastered this world, you learn that the far northeast of Karandrin is a sprawling set of goblin nations. And as you ask a little bit about it, the sense you get is that goblins are easily half the population of the continent.
Wow.
And the only thing that has kept Karandrin from being simply overrun is that those goblin nations up there have not been able to get their shit together to unify to attack.
Wow.
And that, of course, the goblins that we sit here among, the reason they appeared out of nowhere is that they were a splinter group fleeing for their lives.
Oh.
So
really?
Yes.
Wow.
And so they came out of nowhere. They were led by an army of a general who was defeated in a coup. He fled and then gathered supporters, and then to protect the family members of his peoples, they basically did a mass exodus, pursued by armies. And then it was a 15-year trek across the southern part of the land of the ancients.
Oh no!
And so they would stop and settle a place, and then it would become too difficult, and they would move again. And so they eventually just took over a region here. So
I always forget like the years as well. Was that like 500?
350 years ago is the ballpark you understand for when the goblins invaded the elven and dwarven nations. And then they're blamed for the goblin pox, and that basically ended the war. They were doing very well, and they're taking over. Their two major cities was an elven city. Their southernmost was a dwarven city. And they took over this section of the mountains, and their hope was to take over several of the cities in the northern part of the Elven Kingdom. And they were very close to doing that. And then the pox hit everybody. And so then the goblins started losing. Then they retreated to the strongholds they had secured down here. And the war kind of petered out after 11 or 12 years. And so...
Wow, very... Wow, it was really cool.
So literally, I had this. I was waiting for someone just to break off, and of the 30 or 40 players I've had in this game, someone just to break off and go, I'm going way over here to this part of the continent, and no one ever has.
Yeah.
And so, but I couldn't see a way of avoiding it here, especially given this is sort of clearly, he's knowledgeable about world politics and so on. He got a 180.
Wow.
And so if he knows a lot about Belzebar trades a lot with them, and fights with them some too over control of islands and control of resources. So you also learn a lot about the Ancients' land, which is that land far north of the deserts.
Yeah.
No one likes it. It is just everyone feels that it's very unnatural. There's a road in the extreme northern Penn Clans, which is the desert nation directly east of you right now, and that road runs through the desert, and it's largely straight. It has some winding. It's a silver road made out of some metal. It goes all the way up there, and starts in the desert. Right, it never has any sand on it.
Oh, wow. I think I'd heard about that road before.
Yes.
I can't remember his name. He was a giant dude from somewhere north of the ancient lands. I think he kind of crosses through them.
Yeah, he's I know who you're talking about. That very strange creature who has up to a small little citadel that his people rule, and he's just to the west. He is at the extreme northern end of these mountains. He's not the end. He's much further north on this very mountain chain.
Right.
So
rumor of that road. Wow, very cool.
So it's so funny. 30 years, this knowledge has been sitting around, and there are other places you can get it. You're not far from other places that know about it, and so on.
But I wouldn't know to ask it, right?
Yeah. So the dinner ends. The lunch ends, I should say.
I have at some
point. Yes.
If I was too invested, with talking to him, that's fine. But I would like to talk with Batherin about, just try to turn to her and say, oh, it seems you keep elbowing me. Maybe I should scooch my chair away. Wink. I get a chance to bring that up.
Try to
find out what
roll for. Yeah, roll for me.
44.
So late in the she says something. You're like, okay, and then you make another attempt. A few minutes later, okay. Late in the meal, she just says, you must have had a lot of wine. You're very chatty.
Oh, okay.
And it is at that moment you realize this dude is so humorous. He's so charming. I don't even know what I've told him.
Yeah.
His humor is a 151.
Oh my gosh.
And so, he is, socially, he is just, he's just skilled at talking and gabbing and so on. And he was clearly assigned to you now that you think about it.
Right.
We didn't do an intuition read on him, did we?
No, we did not.
Give me a roll.
2.
Your initial sense about him is that he is as he seems. So was he interrogating you, or did he just loosen your tongue because he's funny and you just felt so comfortable with him? But being in Neodra's presence, like you're just always on guard, and you're like, am I being unfair to him, or should I be on, am I legitimately concerned here? So is there anything else you want to ask Kefik?
I would like to ask him just about the type of magic. He's obviously an apprentice under.
Yeah. Fraldrum.
Fraldrum. That's
Yeah.
such a hard name to remember. He's an apprentice
So
under Fraldrum, so I'm curious about the type of magic he's studying.
let
Long he's been
me
studying magic.
right. Let me go here because I want to make sure I have him answer correctly. My mic boom in this new setting.
I study the magic of making jokes.
That's right. That's what I
stand-up comedian.
One day. I thought I rolled what this guy was. In fact, I'm almost positive I did. Where is it? It should be right here. What I rolled. Maybe I got the roller done and I didn't. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, he says, he goes, well, I'm no archmage like my master.
Mm-hmm.
But I tend more toward misperception and the art of illusion.
Mm. Okay.
So, anything else you want to ask?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. So the dinner breaks up. Mia rises. Everyone rises. She escorts out. Is escorted out. People, say a few words or whatever, and there's going to be a meeting after lunch between the big wizards and the apprenti.
Mm-hmm.
Fraldrum makes her way over to you,
Okay.
and let's roll your sense of her.
52.
She's definitely you definitely get a good vibe from her, but not a lot of deep gut feelings beyond that.
Yeah.
She says, she introduces herself as Fraldrum, and she takes your hand, and she says, well, I finally get to meet Little Fly, don't I? And the look of curiosity on your face, she says, were you not aware of your nickname here in the castle?
Not that one.
No, you fly here, you fly there. You are just we call you Little Fly, and you just flit here and out, buzzing.
An 80-year-old woman, like that's what I meant. Oh, Little Fly.
She is among the older dwarves you've probably met. She's she's with the equivalent of probably a 75 or 80-year-old person in her own time. So she's definitely got years under her, and she pulls you close by the hand, and she goes, just a little fly caught in someone else's ointment, but you do get to buzz free sometimes, don't you? And I want you to remember that you do get to fly free sometimes. And she says, I'm sure we'll talk again. And I've instructed my guards that whenever you'd like an audience in my tower, you just come and talk. And I don't know how you did it, but I see that little familiar of yours sneaking around here and there. Now that's a special gift. Maybe you'll teach me how you did that.
Maybe not. Oh, okay. A magician never reveals her secret.
Right.
That a common expression, Karandrin? Is that
Right,
what children say to one another?
Exactly. It's the same thing as that expression from Karandrin that you can't believe everything you read on the internet. You know, like they say, if it's not a secure website. Anyway, but roll for me.
Just use the Tor browser. Sponsored by 81. This woman is on to me. Wow.
Yes, you do have a sense that she is ahead of the game in some areas. Obviously, I mean, she could have said a lot more to reveal to reveal other things that she knew, but she didn't. So, but you, and you're thinking about gods are on your mind, right? Because you're meeting with the priests and your sort of realization that, I need to show them my devotion if I'm going to be researching other gods. I need to make sure that relationship is cemented, and you think, and here maybe is where the gods are looking out for me, because unless I'm very much mistaken, I have made a huge ally just now.
Huh.
Like there's just sort of this feeling of warmth when she says that about, and you're like, oh, so I'm not in trouble.
Right.
Maybe I'm in less trouble.
My initial, the way you just phrased it, I just immediately thought, okay, here's another.
No, I understand. And of course, that should be your initial reaction. I think that would be your character's initial reaction is, ah!
Yeah.
And then
the way she says it, right. It's like,
and then like once you process how she said it, you're like, okay, all right, no, I got you, buddy.
Okay.
I got you. So, anything?
I mean, I just respond to her.
No.
Maybe I'll think about it. It's like, well, I appreciate the offer. It would be good to chat sometime.
Well, you just remember that if you need to come see me, don't come through the front. That door is heavy. It's just too hard to open. Go around the back to the green door.
Okay, I absolutely will.
The guards can show you where it is. You can ask anybody. It's the wine cellar. And there's a guard, of course. It is a wine cellar in a keep filled with thirsty guards. So there's always a guard there, So just ask to see me.
All right. Well, I will do that if I do come see you. Yeah, I thought those crickets were outside my house, but they're coming from your room. They're not.
That's funny because they're not terribly loud to me. Of course, I have my headphones on. No, they're very pleasant. That's a pleasant sound.
Yeah, no, it's not obtrusive.
It's the sound of my childhood. It used to be like, because I grew up on a farm, and so I would go to sleep to that sound. It used to be, and it's happening less now, but if I heard crickets, I would start yawning because I would go to sleep to that sound.
Oh wow.
And like, this is not doing it this time. But usually I would yawn a couple of times. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crickets. It's funny.
The sound of my childhood is cars blaring reggaeton as they drive down my street way too fast. You grow up in different places, that's for sure.
That's right. The crushing of children under tire. That's really the sound that we all miss. So I was thinking about turning this light up. Let me see if this is too bright. That's all right. One more. Is that all right?
That is good.
Okay, good.
I look like you're on one of those like ghost shows. Like, now we're gonna.
Oh, that's right, because of the headphones. No, did you hear it say
ectoplasmic signals? Yeah.
I am. Did you hear it say nothing? Because that's what I heard. No, I think it gave us a taco recipe. That would be great. That's what I want to do. We'll do a skit like that where it is definitely a voice, but it's giving you like really strange information.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it would be funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, nice. So if I don't think I want to ask her anything. If she gives me, an opportunity to speak, I'll ask her about, just kind of mention Adabir's like research. It's very involved, and it's taking a while, and I hope kind of just her opinion of it. I'm just curious about kind of worm that out of her.
I wish him all the success, but certainly I think you and I can agree that having the right length of life is more important than carrying it on endlessly. But as always, the devil is in the details.
What do you mean by that?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I guess maybe how he does it, is the kind of scary part.
Roll.
Or does she literally mean I rolled a 12, so it's not. Does she literally mean the demon is in the details? She can count on more than she knows.
It's a good question.
Okay. Crowl's in the details. I mean,
exactly.
The details. Okay. Well, that's all. Then I'll excuse myself and. Yeah.
So yeah, you guys go. Our two visiting wizards travel with Adabir in his coach. You guys are returned. I can't remember. Were you invited to this meeting or not? That they're about to hold.
I requested, and then I wasn't invited. Yeah.
So
sorry. Which meeting?
The big meeting, the meeting amongst the wizards and apprentices that's about to take place. Okay, yeah.
I mean, I can look through my notes. I don't think we even said there. I mean, you kind of you say yourself. Obviously, there's going to be a meeting, but I don't know. It wasn't really
Sure, no one has specifically said, which means thus far you're not.
Yes.
And the question is
to attend. So
well, then you're gonna have to take action to make that happen.
I will take action.
So everyone's unloading, and people are disembarking the coaches at at your residence, at the residence home, the residence.
Mhm.
What do you even call that place? I mean, it's a manor, is sort of self-standing.
Yeah, wouldn't they? I mean, they might have names for each of the houses.
Yeah.
I mean, caverns and stuff like that. The grape
Um,
house, the
right. That's a good question. I'll find a
house
name
by the
for it.
creek. Yeah, something like
Right. Right. Um,
the stinky house.
that's
Our
right.
bad guests in there.
So the yeah, so people are there to talk to. So
I mean, I would go straight to Adabir if I can, and
sure.
just
You
say,
walk up, he turns
"There's a
to you.
meeting. I would like to be a part of it with between Plesh and Faranar. That's allowed."
He pats you on the shoulder and straight out dismisses you, just turns away from you,
Oh,
and the three of them go up with the apprentices. At the top of the stairs, the first landing, really, he turns and dismisses the apprentices.
oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
they go, and they sort of look, they look at each other and they look down at you, and you're like, well, don't look at me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
We'll have our own meeting. Blackjack hookers.
we're going to have our own clubhouse.
We'll make it really loud too. So
That's right.
Like, bang against the ceiling.
Little fogies telling us what to do. What is on my damn glasses? It's driving me
Very
crazy.
private business, I guess.
Yeah. So off they go. We were seeing have a moth landing on my face here.
Mm.
Um,
I was a little curious about Faranar because I didn't see her. So I'm looking through my notes here. All I have with Faranar is that in the meeting, she kind of tried to pry information from me, about Adabir's plans. Was there
right.
anything at the lunch or in this just kind of on the coach ride that I
Well, they were all at that far end of the table, and then they were in a separate coach.
kind of hard to glean anything about her?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
your impression at the dinner, I mean, you were just really captivated by.
Right, and I know how that is. You're just caught up in your conversation. The time flies.
Right. The times that you looked over, she was saying nothing. She was sitting very quietly and taking stuff in. Like you're like, as you go back, you're like, I'm not sure. I mean, clearly you speak when spoken to when you're in a noble's presence. And you're like, other than maybe those instances, I didn't see her say a word.
Wow.
So, damn it. I hate wearing glasses. I hate it so much. But, so the, so yeah, so that is that. Batherin does come down the stairs. And takes you sort of firmly by the arm and says, your chatter endangers us.
Okay.
And sort of lets you go very roughly and walks off. I mean, she's pissed. So that's when you attack her.
Yeah. Well, if I could catch her real quick, just to say, well, yeah.
Well, let me just add, Batherin, your mama.
Yeah, your mama endangers us.
That's right.
So big that. Well, maybe we should. Yeah. how would I word it? I want to say to her, is there anything that I might have said, slipped up on, that I should be aware of? I guess, yeah.
You alluded to Adabir's continued interest in demons. You alluded that you had considerable experience with demons. And just talking, when he would ask you about adventures that you may have had, you mentioned a magical prison that you once came across. And you're like going, holy crap! I was just laughing, and I thought I was being careful, but obviously Batherin felt like I overstepped. Maybe I did.
Brise, we need to learn to stop drinking.
And then she said, and he questioned you quite a bit about familiars. And you said that, well, you had a band of familiar, but you don't have any familiars anymore. And he said, not even a rat? And you said, no, I don't have a rat.
Wow. Yeah. Huh.
And then he went on just charming you with stories of his own familiars that he's used over the years.
It is a little concerning because we've already had the spy, who kind of got some info out of me. Now this guy as well. Like, stories are starting to corroborate,
Yeah.
Details are starting to line up. Man.
I am not unfond of you, child. But I didn't expect to be in this much danger because of you. I'm going to ask that you be moved out of the keep. And she turns and leaves.
Okay. No. I'm not if I ask him first. You get out of the keep.
Eventually, everyone's out of the keep.
You know what though? I do feel bad because this has happened a few times already, and I don't know if Brise needs to have like a bit of a self-reflection, on like what is the best way?
I don't think there's any question that you're now thinking about strategies and hold
my information better,
right. And this is something I like about, again, I've said before about Karandrin and Rolemaster system generally, but that your social skills are just as important as your combat skills. And when you're really up against somebody who is really talented, I got interviewed by a Department of Defense investigator because a friend of mine was going after a top secret clearance. So we actually got called out of class in high school, me and a few friends, and we met in the principal's office, and there was this guy there, and it's like, hey, your buddy is seeking a top secret clearance, and like we had a really good time with him. He thanked us for our time, and then afterwards I was like, wow, he really put us at ease.
Yeah.
And I was like, he wasn't looking to interview us for to interview us. He was looking to interview us to see if there was who else he needed to interview.
Right.
And I had no idea that that's what was going on. And obviously, that's been in my mind for 32 years or 31 years.
Yeah.
And it was really very interesting.
Yeah, really cool. It's people like that are very rare, I feel, that are able to do that. But when you do come across them, you're like, wow, yeah, you're just kind of impressed by their skills in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of concerning. I'd have to. I mean, I was going to say immediately, is there me coming from, kind of a noble background? I'm pretty comfortable here in the keep, and I do, feel like I'm a part of, this
Definitely.
operation here.
But
So
but
that,
what weighs on you is, I am comfortable in this and so on. But I'm
right.
18 and they are not.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for, well, at least the social stuff. Okay, you can say I've been doing it for 10 years,
Yeah.
beginning to learn social in and outs and things like that. Mia Girl has not been doing it for 10 years.
No.
She's been doing it for 40,
Right.
and those two don't compare,
Right.
and so um, where and how, you know, defenses against this are, you're going to have to be more
You know.
mindful as you go in. And this is sort of a somewhat a player thing that I can't assume, right? When you go in, I need to know that Brise is on guard, right? And I'll give you some of a bonus for that because I don't make any assumptions about character actions beyond you're not going to do anything that causes direct harm.
Sure.
Um, you know, um, and then the rest of it is just experience. I mean, you just got to get better and better at these sorts of things, or know when you begin learning, like when you're outclassed, and
Right.
just
Kind of recognizing the signs, even if I can't outwit them.
right. Um,
I was.
so
It's kind of a funny. It's a what do you call that type of paradox here, where it's like if I'm away from the keep and I'm needed, then it's bad.
that's
Then
trouble,
if I'm stay here at the keep, then I
and
tend to gain
it's a
information.
liability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Um,
weird.
but you are, of course, I mean, to some extent, I don't, of course, Brees probably will feel bad, but it's sort of inevitable, right? There's a whole system
Right.
arrayed against you,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
And yeah, and that's what I was kind of gonna say to Batherin, like before she left, kind of quickly.
Right.
How are we supposed to keep information away? Well, I guess that's her response would be, well, exactly. That's why we need to remove you
Right.
from this
Right.
dangerous place.
Roll for me.
88.
So it occurs to you, well, if you could just camp out, they could buy that property where they're doing the rituals,
Yeah.
and you just camp out there. Um,
Yeah. Honestly, do like,
uh,
the outdoors. I wouldn't mind with just
yeah.
in there. I think, yeah, there's, that's funny. Yeah, because in town there's still a risk of spies, people eavesdropping, them
Right.
sending people,
When
to
you're
me.
when you're by yourself, that's a lot more difficult to do.
Yeah, Quinn, that's what I'm worried about. I've set up all these decorations in like my room. I've got like,
This is why we can't have nice stuff, Quinn. This is why. Um,
exactly.
so, um,
Okay. So I'll write down, it's definitely a question weighing on my mind.
I know it's 9, but I really don't. I don't know if we want to keep going. I'm fine to keep going, but I don't want to keep you too late.
I think this is a good ending point.
Okay,
It's kind of a
that
cool,
is fine.
resolution. And, next time we'll see, kind of what maybe how that meeting turns out with you
Right.
two, and what maybe needs to be done about me.
All right. Well,
Keep in the chatterbox.
yeah. So we've definitely moved things along. We've definitely got some uh, big developments in terms of maybe you have one of the most powerful allies yet, in the sense of you've got the chief wizard on board who sees you as a fly trapped in ointment. And so,
Instead of a demon trapped over a volcano.
right, hot boiling ointment, she says, and winks a lot. Um, so, um, But we thank everybody for hanging out with us. We're always glad to have you here. We will be back next Wednesday with episode 49, crazily enough. And we're going to keep expanding our marketing efforts and promoting the stream on various Facebook pages. If you have any recommendations, hey, make sure you send them our way. And likewise, we're grateful for any donations you want to give, like, subscribe, and you can always catch. Oh, you want to switch us over to the goodbye page there, buddy?
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
That's all right. Look, it's my background. Isn't that cool?
Oh my gosh.
You always catch Max on YouTube where he talks about the role of music in video games. As always, thank you to Elliot Denovitz for her artwork on Brise's character. You can see more of Elliot's work at ArtStation.com/Tortolua. I've written a novel that I'm pretty proud of that you can take a look at, and that link is also in the description in the video. Actually, all these links are in the description for the video if you'd like. But we really do appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we'll be back next week with episode 49. And God, who knows what's going to happen for 50. But again, thank you, Max. Just love on these wonderful people.
Oh, I love all you wonderful people. Thanks, Quinn, as always, for many puns.
Yeah.
All the I'm gonna remember butt sex ottoman for a while. Yeah, I hope you all have a good night, and see you next week.
That's right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.